Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. My name is Chris Salem, your host here with TALRadio. Again, we want to thank you for joining us here at TALRadio for Business Influencers. Again, this show would not be where it is today without you, and it's up to you that we are here to help serve you and raise your level of influence to the next level. If you would like to have some more insight to future content that you'd like to see on the show, reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. That's chris@christophersalem.com. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to rekindle old relationships. This takes all the noise out of social media because it is a membership program, but by being a member, it allows you to generate genuine and authentic relationships on your time, and you get to join in on a wide array of different services that are not available to the general public that could apply to your business and personal life to take your business to the next level. If you'd like more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a wonderful show for you today. We're going to be talking about resilience through financial adversity. We're going to discuss how to overcome personal financial disasters by helping you to shape a robust approach to financial planning and a journey that will resonate when you face these setbacks and how you can seek sustainable success with it. We're going to be brought to you today by subject matter expert Joseph Lombardi, who is a fellow Connecticut person. I'd love to hear that. And Joseph is the managing director at Ironhawk Financial. It has a unique and powerful narrative of resilience and dedication in the financial world. His life changed dramatically due to a series of family tragedies, which became the catalyst for his passion for financial planning. Joseph's career is built on a foundation of personal experiences, from witnessing his family lose a $15 million construction business to enduring the financial impact of his mother's untimely death without life insurance and his grandmother's substantial financial loss to healthcare expenses. These events have not only reshaped his approach to financial planning, but also his mission to protect others from similar fates. And I highly respect the transparency, and I always love to have guests that are transparent. And Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Such a pleasure. So let's do a little deep dive. I obviously, in your bio, you really have a powerful backstory about, when it comes to you had your own resilience. I mean, you wouldn't be a product of what you speak on without going this with yourself. If you could maybe start there and share about that experience and how it shaped you in terms of how you approach financial health and wellness, and how you now, position yourself to help others either going through this or helping them to offset this in a proactive way so they don't go through those same experiences you did.
Yeah, I mean, this life journey I've been on, started that I can recall is when my parents divorced when I was 4. I was living in Florida. We moved to Trumbull, just me and my dad. And my mom wanted the party life. She didn't want a kid anymore. So I lived in an attic where there was no running water for years, eating, noodles and eggs with ketchup, hamburger helper with no hamburger meat, just living in extreme poverty, but not knowing, you're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you don't know.
Yeah.
And then my grandmother gives my dad a loan to start JV Lombardi Builders. He owned Lombardi Realty before, built that up to a multi-million-dollar company. And my father lost that through cocaine back in the 80s.
I can remember those days. I was a product of that myself and have my own story with that. I can relate.
So then he starts JV Lombardi Builders. If you had a truck and a hammer in the mid to late 90s, you were making 6 figures a year. So his business popped up when the housing market bubble was building up big before the '08 crash. And we moved to Fairfield, and I was the poor fat kid getting made fun of every day, bullied, and but then business was really good. We started making a lot of money. Fast forward, I'm 15, 16, I got a brand new Nissan, and life was different. I started running track, playing football, lost a bunch of weight, had a 6-pack. It was the best time of my life. And then about sophomore year, my dad falls 3 stories off a ladder. Now here I am. My sister was living with us. It was me, him, and her. And she was born 2 pounds 7 ounces through the alcohol syndrome. My ex-stepmom drank vanilla extract and Listerine during pregnancy and almost killed her. So now I'm 15. She's 1.5. And I'm left with this child, or both of us would have went to DCF because I was an 18. My dad was in the hospital for over a year, rehabilitating a bone in his foot that disintegrated into 1,000 pieces in his ankle. So it really affected me. I said, okay, so now I got to drop out of football, track, and basketball. I got to go work at a daycare. So I started working on Child's Garden on Mona Terrace in Fairfield, Connecticut. And, I was going to school, after school, working at the daycare, then picking up my daughter, walking down the street, at Tunx's Hill. There used to be like a Caldor and a Bradley's,
Yeah,
back
I
in the
remember
day.
though. Yeah.
And there was a Burger King there, and I think we must have lived on Burger King for a year because I couldn't cook at 15. So it really showed me that my dad was always like, when his business was growing, he had everything. He had an Audi S8, he had second homes, he had 10 rental properties in Stratford, Connecticut. He had so much money and net worth from reinvesting and being smart with his finances, like most of my clients are. But what he didn't have is he didn't have a foundation. So when he ended up falling 3 stories, he lost everything, like millions of dollars gone that, he was able to build in about a 7-year period. So I basically realized, okay, that's common, I guess. So I started doing a lot of research. I joined the HBRA, Home Building Remodeling Association. I joined a bunch of different BNIs, YPNs, and, got into the business. And I realized that that's super common in the construction world. They have crazy incomes. All their net worth is in, equity, business equity, and real estate. That's it. They have no life, no disability, no long-term care, no pensions, very low, if any, retirement assets like IRAs or 401ks. So I found a huge hole in the market. So I started at Northwestern shortly after that. And I used to just drive like 100 miles an hour on I-95 and then see trucks, ABC Construction, 123 Electric. And I would just get behind them and call them up, say, hey, my father was Joseph Lombardi. He fell 3 stories off a ladder, lost everything. Can I buy you a cup of coffee and make sure it doesn't happen to you? So they used to call me the dog. I used to chase trucks. And that's pretty much how I started in this industry 20 years ago. Was
Wow.
just, chasing a target market, and everybody I helped reminded me that I was helping my father.
Wow. What, I mean, so much adversity growing up, a story of, from rags to riches and then back down, like again, and the resiliency shining through, like you never like allowed your, you were a man long before you were considered to be a man, right? What you had to accomplish. And in essence, that when you were aiming to help the audience you serve, in this business, it was like, again, you were helping your father. And it just goes to show the type of person you are from your core set of values. If that's what stood out for me there.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a lot of people. I have life coaches, therapists, all that, and they basically said you could have gone one of two ways. Could have gone downhill like most people would have, said, oh, woe is me, boo-hoo. Life is so hard. Your mom doesn't love you. Your dad's crippled. Your sister almost died. Your grandma had a stroke, led to dementia, lost her entire net worth that my grandfather gave her when he died of $4.2 million to Ludlow Nursing Home across from Sacred Heart in Fairfield. And
Yep.
you could have just been the victim. But instead, I took what I learned and said, you know what, I'm going to try and prevent that from happening to as many people as I possibly can.
Wow. I mean, just a product of what resilience is. So share with us when you're working with clients have gone maybe let's just start with ones that have gone through this perhaps. And just like, they're just coming out of, where they see a beacon of hope. What do you do in terms of helping them to kind of now set a plan in motion to rise through these ashes?
That's a great question. So what my business has really morphed into over the last 2 decades is taking existing assets that my clients have and making sure they preserve capital. So you cannot lose. So it's taking a look at things like fixed income annuities, average double-digit rate of returns. However, the new money, right? So not only do I want to protect my clients, I'd save millions of dollars in taxes per client. And I do that through building a legal tax-free pension, which is Section 7702 of the IRS. So what I try and do is take what they've had, preserve it with growth, number two, and covering inflation, right? The new money they have, their biggest risk right now for my clients actually is going to be taxes. We owe over $300 trillion in national debt, U.S. unfunded liabilities, Medicare and Social Security liabilities, which all can be found at usdebtclock.org. So when you understand the future financial risks, I made it more attractive for clients to say, I'm willing to pull the trigger because it's actually an asset, not a liability. Why do most business owners don't have long-term care, life, disability? Because they're insured up the butt.
Yep.
Meaning they have liability, workman's comp, business auto, health insurance, auto, umbrella. Like, I don't want another freaking insurance policy, Joe. So what I found is there's a way where you can build a hybrid investment insurance product strategy that allows clients to protect themselves from the four things that are guaranteed to happen to you financially. One of them is you're either going to live super long and die, you're either going to die early, you're either going to get disabled, or you're going to need long-term care. There's no other alternative a human can go from being birthed to dying. One of those four things has to happen. So with that said, the strategy that I built, it allows my clients where if they live super long, they have a liquid tax-free pension, sort of like a tax-free Social Security benefit. If they die early, there's a tax-free benefit to their children, their wife, their business partner, whatever the goal of the money is. If they get disabled, it's fully funded. So their nest egg is guaranteed if they were to have something happen like happened to my father. And then if they need long-term care, they can accelerate the death benefit up to $30,000 tax-free a month for life. So they're not liquidating hard assets, right? When it comes to long-term care, most people think, oh, I'm worth $5 million, I'm fine. Well, if that's, and to convert that into long-term care money, that's like $2.5 million. Because when you pay the home, they're $15,000, $20,000 a month. You have to net $25,000 to $45,000 a month of your assets, because the government needs their cut. Nobody's sitting around with their net worth $5 million in cash. It's in real estate, it's in IRAs, 401ks, it's in business equities, it's crypto, whatever. All those things have a cost to get in and a cost to get out. So I, like a perfect example, I had a client who came to my office. He was a millionaire, and he put a $1.3 million 401k statement on my desk and said, Joe, look, I'm a millionaire. I looked at him, I said, no, you're about a 680,000-aire. I said, what do you mean? I said, you're holding over $500,000 of the government's money. Did you get that much in write-offs? So we actually went through what he wrote off over the last 30 years. He says, nah, I got about 45 grand. I said, so for your 45 grand in tax savings, or what I call deferral, you ended up costing yourself over $500,000 in losses. So you were able to write off $2,000 a year on your tax return. So it's just doing that long-term planning. Nobody does. My father didn't do it. My mother didn't do it. My grandmother didn't do it. I have 1,600 clients, over $1 billion of rollovers and protections I've done in my career, and none of my clients did it. So it's so vitally important to understand you have a past self, a present self, and a future self. And if you're not taking care of your future self, nobody else is going to. And time, unfortunately, goes by so fast. I have 3 children. One of them's in high school. Like, I remember being in high school, let alone having a kid in high school. So it's just, time goes by so fast, and you need to build those financial habits in place so that you can get from point A to point B in the most efficient, safest, less stressful way possible.
That's great. I love that. And one of the things I love that you emphasize right at the end is those habits don't just change overnight. They have to take place over time. And when you have the guidance of someone that, understands that and can help you, it's more likely that, people are going to be accountable to stick to a plan if they're willing to do the work, to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I do for most clients, I make it KISS, keep it stupid simple. If you're max funding your 401k at 18.5 a year, you're only matched 3, you're throwing 15,500 a year in a bad account, illiquid, high feed, unmatched. So I take those dollars you're putting in your left pocket, take them out, put them in your right pocket, and I build you what's called a rich person's Roth, right? There's some really good articles on Forbes. If you just go to Forbes, Rich Person's Roth, one is written by a CFP, one's written by a CPA. And it just teaches you that there's a lot of risks that people don't think about. What if the market goes down? What if taxes go up? What if inflation goes up? What if interest rates go up? Well, we're experiencing all 4 of those negative things right now, right? We're experiencing taxes going to start going up. We're experiencing the market coming down. We did last year. Now we had a nice little 20% run in the last 12 months. But I don't have really a positive outlook for 2024, even though we started the year off with a bang. I think the market's melting up now, but come back in 6 months and fact check me and see if I was right or not. And then we have interest rates going up. We have inflation going up, right? So what are people doing? Like when inflation interest rates go up, that's less profit for companies like Apple or Google or Tesla. So when they do their quarterly report, it's going to be down. And we all know we've seen stocks go up 10% in a quarter, 20%. We saw Facebook was up, I think, 21% a day when they put the recordings out. So we see these huge swings in the casino or the stock market.
Yeah.
And if you don't have like a plan to protect you from the downs, people don't understand it's doubly or higher more important to protect yourself from the downs. And why do I say that? Well, if you had $100 and you lost 50%, you have $50.
Yeah.
If I gain back my 50%, most Americans think they're even. I made 50, I lost 50. Well, what's 50% of 50? It's only 25. So I'm only at $75. So if I didn't count that at $100, lost 50%, gained 50%, I still am down 25%. So in this example, if the market lost 50%, I have to gain 100%, 50 into 50, to make nothing. And if there was a huge correction, like we saw the Great Depression, which there's a lot of forecasters predicting that, but who knows, a lot of doom and gloom channels get clicked, so you got to be careful what you read. But when you understand that if the market were to drop 80%, it takes 500% profit to make nothing. So when people are getting closer to retirement, they have to start taking some of that risk off the table.
Yeah.
And they have to start diversifying their taxation, and they need long-term care insurance, period. So I've devised a strategy that covers all of those risks while making you money guaranteed. So now you don't have an insurance liability policy, you have insurance asset policy, paradigm shift.
Yeah, it's a big thing when it's not now like viewed as an expense. It's actually an asset for them in terms of what it's doing to protect them, but also, helping them to, sustain their money and so on. No, very interesting. What were some of the things, if you got people, you have business owners or anybody that's listening now, and those will be listening later, what would be the first advice that you would share with them when it comes to, when it comes to, getting through financial adversity and now setting the stage to move forward?
The most important thing is when you pick an advisor, a planner, somebody to work with, that they have a strong team. Me being doing this for 2 decades, I have lawyers, CPAs, attorneys, elder law attorneys, real estate. I have a really good guy who owns Cash Map as a budgeting tool. I've probably referred him 100 clients, all 100 loved them. Finding someone who's A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau, 5-star rating on Google, which my company is, finding someone with a good track record. And in my opinion, your biggest risks are going to be taxes going up, markets going down, interest rates going up, and inflation going up. And with the traditional investment, whether it be business equity, real estate, stocks, IRA, 401k, when taxes go up, you lose. When market goes down, you lose. When inflation goes up, you lose. And when interest rates go up, you lose. So when you take a look at those 4 investing levers, it's not looking good for 99% of clients' assets right now. So the strategy I've done is it protects you from all of them. So when taxes go up, you don't lose. It's neutral. When the market goes down, you don't lose. There's downside protections. Or strategy even guarantees you 1% if the market goes down. So you actually win. And then you have, and inflation goes up, interest rates go up, depending on which strategy you choose. One is neutral, and one you actually make more money. So it's leveraging hedging against future risks by not putting all your eggs in what?
One basket.
And that's what everybody does. They do it from a tax standpoint, from a liquidity standpoint, from a market standpoint. And when you deal with assets like IRAs, 401ks, SEP, Simples, pensions, deferred comp, 457s, TSAs, there's 3 parties to that contract. You have the government, and you have Wall Street. And unfortunately, if you do your research, you'll realize that the government is in bed with Wall Street right now through lobbying, through back deals, which isn't healthy or good for this account. Because if you add up over 30 years, the money that Wall Street makes versus the money you make, Wall Street makes more money than you.
Oh, of course. They're using your money.
They're charging you a 2% fee for what? So you can pay for some schmuck's Lamborghini in Manhattan? Well, good job. And then the other party to that is the government. Well, they're taking half, if not more, if they decide to increase taxes, because you have federal tax, state tax, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security. So it goes through all these levels of taxation that people don't understand. They think, oh, I have $1 million in my 401k, which therefore my net worth's $1 million. Well, your gross net worth is just like your income is gross.
Yeah.
Oh, I make 200 grand a year. No, you don't. You make $130 because the government's
Exactly.
stealing 70,000 of your money. So it's that
Exactly.
paradigm shift that most people don't have, where when you look at the nitty gritty of what you're actually making and what you can actually pull from assets that have these fake values on them, it blows people's minds. So to be able to build a legal tax-free account, if you had $1 million with me or 1.5 million in a 401k, you actually net more money with me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
even though on paper it looks like, oh, well, I have way more money in my 401k. Yes, you're holding money for baby daddy Biden. Good job. But it's not your money.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's mine? What can I take? And that's what's the important factor that is missing in our education in our school system.
No, I agree 100%. And I know we're getting towards the end, and I want to have time to make sure we let people know where, but can you elaborate further on that? Because you're right. We're not teaching this in the schools. And so it's imperative that there are thought leaders like yourself that are sharing that. What do you encourage people to where to, define information like this through you, or just it could be anything in general? I mean, because again, if they go online, they could also be misled there too. But what you feel like, what would be the best course of action for the awareness?
I've written 3 published books on Amazon. So I guess I can say I'm an author. I'm willing for free to send any of your listeners all 3 of my books. The first one's called Being Your Own Bank. The second one is There's a Better Way Than a 401k. And the third one is Long-Term Care Without Long-Term Pain. And those 3 books I'm willing to offer if you just want to send me an email at joe@ironhawkfinancial.com. You want to go to my website, www.ironhawkfinancial.com, fill out the contact us form. I will gladly send you all 3 of my books, no consultation needed. I'm trying to get as much information out there to as many people that care about their family, their business, and their finances to make decisions today that have a huge impact on their bottom line tomorrow.
Wow, powerful, powerful stuff. Well, we want to highly encourage everybody that's listening and those listening, get in touch with Joseph here. Very important. This is, things that can really make a difference in your life and the legacy that you're going to leave for your families, or anything that you're worth, that's important to you. Joseph, in the next minute before we conclude the show, anything else that you would like to sum up or leave for the audience in terms of taking action of what you shared today?
It comes down to an old saying that a president said, and it came down to, if you fail to plan, your plan's to fail. Whether it's a fire drill for your family, make sure they're safe if there's a fire, whether it's you have one of those break glass things in your window in case you end up in a lake. It's just it's making sure that we have a plan in place to say, how do I go from Connecticut to California? You're not just going to hop in your car and wing it. You're going to plan it out. Where do we stop? Where do we eat? Where do we gas up? What's the best route? Well, people with their finances, they literally just hop in the car. And they're just like, woo, what's going to go? I have a flat tire. I have no idea. I'm screwed. I don't have AAA. If there's no vacancy at the place I'm going to, I guess I'm sleeping in my car. Well, that's the same type of analogy that people go through with finances, with overdraft fees, bankruptcy, having no plan, having a death in the family, and now you got to go on GoFundMe and beg strangers for money. And when you had the resources to take care of it. So it's making sure, if you're going to go from California, Connecticut to California, which we all will eventually, and not physically, but in life, financially, we have to make sure we do a plan that gets us to where we need to go the most safest, efficient way possible.
Wow, powerful stuff. Well, Joseph, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us here today. Powerful information. And again, thank you for not only for myself, but everyone here at the Touch of Life Foundation and TALRadio for taking the time to share with us from your experience and your knowledge.
Thank you, Chris, for the opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners. We want to thank you each and every week. Again, we encourage you to reach out to Joseph, take advantage of not only the 3 books, but you get to know him and the information that he's sharing. This could be the difference of where you are and where you desire to be, not only for your life, but for generations to come. And if you'd like to see any other content, again, reach out to us and we'd be happy to review for future shows and bringing on the right subject matter experts to share on that content that could help move your business and level of influence to the next level. Till then, everybody have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.